بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ثم الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه الأخيار أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Inshallah, we are picking from, we've already done the main topic, al-istithna'u, explained it, and we've explained al-mustathna bإلا, we've explained what it involves. And so we ended at the الثاني النصب على الاستثناء والبدل أرجح لأنه الذي جاء في القرآن ولأنه ألصق بالمعنى. Okay, so we are picking from the فائدة. It says فائدة يعني is going to give you additional info. It says يقول النحويون. Now we've learned a lot with regards to the قواعد of the استثناء when you are doing it with إلا. Okay, we've learned الحالة الأولى where it says أن يكون بعد كلام تام موجب. We've learned that condition. And then the الحالة الثانية, we've also learned that basically you can have the sentence that comes before the أداة استثناء إلا, you can have it being a complete sentence and a positive sentence. Like if you have ما جاء أحد إلا, now this ما جاء أحد is a complete sentence, but it is negated because there is ma there. So the first situation is when you have a positive sentence and a complete sentence, like جاء القوم جاء الرجال أكل الطلاب إلا. Now the sentence before the إلا is complete. It's a complete sentence, فعل and فاعل. And it is not negated, it's a positive sentence. And so that is the first condition. And then the second حالة is where it says إذا كان الكلام منفيا تاما, where you have the sentence before the إلا negated, like ما جاء القوم إلا. Now ما جاء القوم is a complete sentence but negated. That is الكلام منفيا, الكلام منفيا تاما, as it says إذا كان الكلام منفيا تاما. Okay, so those are the two conditions. And the first condition, he says وجب النصب. If the sentence is complete and positive before the إلا, what comes after the إلا, which is the mustathna, will come mansub. Okay, but in the second case where you have the sentence that comes before the إلا being negative but complete, the mustathna, what comes after the إلا, can be mansub al-istithna, or it can come as badal. That is, it will take the i'rab of the word that comes just before the illa. So if I say ma jaa al-qawmu illa, I say zaydun. Zaydun here, it is badal for al-qawmu, and we've already learned badal. That is, I've made zaydun marfu to serve as badal for al-qawmu. Now when I say ma jaa al-qawmu illa zaydan, Zaid here is mustathna mansub, mustathna mansub. So I have two options when the sentence before the illa is negative and complete sentence. Okay, so with that there are two options. The first one is just nasb. The second condition where the sentence can be negative and complete, you have imma mansub al-istisna or badal. Okay, and then that was where we were brought to until we come to the fa'ida. The fa'ida gives us another face of it. Okay, he says, let me see the. Okay, the fa'ida. He says يقول النحويون إذا كان الاستثناء منقطعا وجب النصب ولم يجوز الوجهان. يعني the two options are not allowed. Yani, how is this qaida? He's saying that if you have the sentence before if you have the jumla, the sentence being the mustathna, that is the word that comes after the illa, being of different species to the word that comes before the illa. How? Like if I say ما جاء القوم or جاء القوم إلا رضوان. This is okay. قوم بمعنى people. Redwan is from people. It's normal. It's the same species. They are all human beings. But if I say جاء القوم إلا بقرة, you see, baqara is not part of the qawm. It's not from the species. So such kind of istisna, we call it al-istisna'u al-munqati'. Istisna that is cut off because they don't link up. If I say ma ja'a al-qawmu illa ridwan, tamam, ridwan is part of the qawm. Ja'a al-qawmu illa rajulan, tamam, rajul is part of qawm. It's normal. It's the same species. They are all human beings. But if I say جاء القوم أو جاء الناس إلا سيارة, سيارة is not part of the قوم, so it doesn't add up. Okay, so we call such kind of broken istisna, we call it al-istisna al-munqati'. And in that case, what does the qaida says? وجب النصب. You must make that mustasna mansub, is a must. So he says ما هو الاستثناء المنقطع؟ هو الذي يكون فيه ما بعد إلا that is the مستثنى من غير جنس ما قبلها. You have what comes after the إلا is not of the same species with what comes before the إلا. So it's مثاله, example of such. قالوا, they said, the Arabs يعني, مثل أن تقول, for you to say, for example, قدم القوم إلا حمارا. So you see, himar is an animal, al-qawm is people, so it's munqati'. They don't link up. In that case, the himar becomes mansub. وجب النصب, you must make it mansub, it's a must. الحمار من القوم, he is asking, هل الحمار من القوم؟ لا, of course. لكن قد يعبر العرب بمثل هذا. Arabs sometimes can speak like this, though on a normal, it doesn't really make sense. The people came or the people approached except the donkey. See, it doesn't, we don't do istisna like that. But then Arabs speak like that, so it has its qaida. إذا كان الاستثناء منقطعا وجب النصب. You must make the مستثنى منصوب. Okay, it says في هذا الحال يجب النصب. In this case, you must make it mansub. قال ابن مالك. Ibn Malik said in Alfiya, of course, Alfiya to Ibn Malik, says مستثنت إلا مع تمام ينتصب. When illa is used for istisna and the sentence before it is tamam, something was left out here. مع تمام, because it's a poem, of course. مع تمام وهو موجب أو موجب, the sentence is positive. You should be positive. You see, so it says when the illa is used for istisna and the sentence before it is a complete sentence and positive, yantasibu, the mustasna becomes mansub. Like قدم القوم or جاء القوم إلا رجلا. The sentence before the illa is positive and complete. And it says وبعد نفي أو كنفي انتخب اتباع ما اتصل وانصب من قطع. He says, after adatu nafi, like when you negate the sentence before the illa, you say ma ja al-qawmu or ma akal al-atfalu illa. Now you've negated it. It says wa ba'da nafyin aw kanafyin. When you negate it with nafi or anything like nafi, intakhab, you choose itba ma mattasala. So that which is muttasil, you make it badal. He prefers you make it badal. Just as we said, the Quran brought example and made it badal. If you could quickly refer, ma fa'aluhu illa qalilun. You see the verse? Ma fa'aluhu illa qalilun. So you see the ma is the negation, fa'aluhu, they did it. It's a sentence, complete sentence that has been negated, and the adatu istisna came, and it says qalilun. And the qalilun is following the fa'il of the fa'aluhu. You know by now that when you have a verb like fa'alu, the waw, the domir waw is the fa'il. So ma fa'aluhu, إِلَّا قَلِيلٌ. They did not do it except a few of them. So the qalilun came as badal for the fa'il. That comes before the illa. So the Quran, the one that came in the Quran with a negated sentence before the illa, the Quran chose the way of badal, such that the mustasna will follow the i'rab of the mustathna minhu, the one that comes before the illa. Okay, so here in Alifiyya, Imam says that وَبَعْدَ نَفْيٍ أَوْ كَنَفْيٍ, when you have the sentence before illa being negated, انتخب إتباع ما اتصل, you choose to make, when you have the al-mustathna al-muttasil, that is when you have the mustathna being from the same species as the mustathna minhu, you make it badal. Itba' here bimana badal, yani, you know badal is part of the tawabi', it has to follow it in i'rab. So it says intakhaba itba'u ma ittasala, أو انتخب إتباع ما اتصل. So you choose to follow that, you choose to make the mustathna follow the i'rab of the mustathna minhu, that is badal, make the mustathna badal. And he says wansib manqata, and when you have it al mustathna munqata, like the example we just saw, qadim al qawmu illa himaran, he says make it mansub, make the mustathna mansub. He says wa an tamimin fihi ibdalu waqa, and when you it said the people of Tamim, they make it ibdal, they make it badal, yani even when it is munqata, they make it badal, they make it marfu. So like they will say qadim al qawmu illa himarun, the people of Tamim. So down Sheikh tells us yani bani tamimin yakulun, the people of Tamim, they say yajuzul wajhani sawa'un kana al-istithna munqata'an aw muttasilan. The people of Tamim, they say whether the istisna is muntasil or munqata, you can make it badal. You just make it badal and be free. There's nothing like if it is munqata, make it mansub, and if it's muntasil, make it badal. But I think we go with the view that we've just been reading so far. Okay, it says for Banu Tamimin yaj'aluna al-qa'idata wahida. The people of Tamim, they make the qaida one, whether it is munqati or muttasil. It says wal Qurayshiyun yaqulun إذا كان الاستثناء منقطعا يجب أن نقطعه. The people of Tamim, the people of Quraysh, they say that if the istisna, the sentence is munqata, you must cut it. You can't say ja al qawmu illa himaran. You can't say illa himarun. Per their view, the people of Quraysh, they see that if you make the himarun badal from the qawm, you are trying to mean that the himar is part of the qawm, but himar is not part of the qawm. So the people of Quraysh prefer clarity, more clarity. It says إذا والقريشيون يقولون إذا كان الاستثناء منقطعا يجب أن نقطعه في الإعراب. We must cut it in إعراب. وأن لا نجعل بينه وبين ما قبل إلا صلة. And we must not make it the mustathna, that is munqati, we must not make it have that which comes before the illa have any alaka. They shouldn't have any link. We should separate them in i'rab. لأنه من غير الجنس, because it's not from the same species. They are not from the same species. And he says التميميون أسهل. The people of Tamim, they are easy. They choose the easy way. Whichever comes, make it badal. لكن القريشيين أقعد. But the people of Quraysh, they are more, their qaida is more deeper. أقعد بمعنى their qaida is more exact. لأن البدل يكون غالبا من جنس المبدل منه. Because badal normally is from the mubdal minhu. I think the topic of badal, you might want to revise it. You might want to go back and revise it, or just read through it. When we are doing badal, we will make the badal share the same species as the mubdal minhu. So we can't, like example is given us here. It says وَإِذَا رَفَعَتَهُ كَانَ الْحِمَارُ مِنْ جِنْسِ الْقَوْمِ. When you make the himar marfu, like قَدِمَ الْقَوْمُ إِلَّا حِمَارٌ, you make the himar part of the species of qawm. وهذا مشكل, and this is problematic. وإذا قلت لم يتهاون الطلبة بالدرس إلا فلان, if as you say the student did not disregard their lesson except this person, جاء فلانا وفلان, you can make it mansub, you can make it marfu, because the sentence is complete and negated before illa. Complete and negated gives you two options. You can make that which comes after illa mansub, or make it badal, make it follow what comes before the illa. It says wal afsahu ar-raf'u, and the most accurate is to make it marfu al badal, that is making it badal. As we've said, the Quran example that the Quran we have from it is marfu, is badal. It says watakulu, you say ma ra'aytu ahadan illa zaidan ayyuhuma afsahu wajhani wa suratu wahida. Now when you have a sentence like ma ra'aytu ahadan illa zaidan, now when you make what comes after illa badal, it is still going to be mansub, because it will be badal of ahadan, and you know badal takes the i'rab of ismu badal minhu. So zaidan will take the i'rab of ahadan, which is mansub. So zaidan can be badal mansub. The second option is making it mansub al-istisna. So zaid can be mustathna mansub. So in such a sentence where the mustathna minhu, the word that comes after illa being mansub, then whether you make it mansub al-istisna or you make it badal is the same i'rab. So it says wajhani, there are two phases of i'rab, was suratu wahida, but the image is one. They are all zaidan zaidan. لكن الاختلاف في الإعراب فقط. The difference is just in the i'rab. As I've said, the one who thinks it's badal will say badal mansub, or badal min ahad mansub wa alamatu nasbihi al-fatha. The one who says it is mansub because of istisna will say mustasna mansub, or mansub ala al-istisna wa alamatu nasbihi al-fatha. Okay, so it says لا يمكن أن تقول إلا زيد. You can't say إلا زيد in this case, because when you say ما رأيت أحدا إلا زيد, you can't say you made it badal, because if it's badal it has to be zaidan. You can't say you also made it istisna, because if it's istisna it should be mansub. So here in this option it's definitely mansub, so it has to be fatha. ولا إلا زيد, you can't say إلا زيد. لماذا؟ لأنه منصوب على كل حال, because whether it is badal here it is mansub, whether it is istisna here it is mansub. Says لكن الإعراب يختلف, but the إعراب is different, is differs. فمثلا سأعرب الآن, he is going to do the إعراب now. I'm going to do the إعراب now. He says وعينوا الأفصح, and choose the one that is most eloquent. Of course, we've already learned that the badal is more preferred, even though here both are mansub, but then we will choose the i'rab that says zaidan is badal. It says ma ra'aytu ahadan illa zaidan. Ma is adat nafi أو نافية. ما نافية. رأيت فعل والفاعل. أحدا مفعول به منصوب وعلامة نصبه الفتحة الظاهرة في آخره. إلا أداة استثناء. زيدا becomes, in the first option you say بدل من أحدا, وبدل المنصوب منصوب وعلامة نصبه فتحة ظاهرة في آخره. The second phase we have ما رأيت أحدا, says عرفنا إعرابها, with the same إعراب as we've seen. إلا becomes أداة استثناء. زيدا becomes مستثنى منصوب على الاستثناء وعلامة نصبه فتحة ظاهرة في آخره. Both إعراب are okay. الإعراب صحيح, لكن إعراب الأول أفصح, but the إعراب of the badal is more أفصح, because the sentence before the إلا is تام منفي, is complete and negated, so you choose the way of badal. Okay. ما مررت بأحد إلا زيد يجوز. Okay, says ما مررت بأحد إلا زيدا يجوز لكنه مرجوح والأرجح إلا زيد وهو البدل. He says you can say ما مررت بأحد إلا زيد. Here what do you do? How do you do the i'rab of زيد? زيد here is badal min ahadin. وبدل المجرور مجرور وعلامة جره الكسرة الظاهرة في آخره. ما مررت بأحد إلا زيدا. زيدا هي اسم مستثنى منصوب على الاستثناء وعلامة نصبه الفتحة الظاهرة في آخره. But then the most accurate is the i'rab of the badal, the first one, إلا زيد. That is the most accurate. Okay. So let's الحالة الثانية. Let's complete this one inshallah in the next session. Okay. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما يا رب العالمين. Please do well to revise. You have to read over, listen again calmly, read over again. Whatever that is unclear, you do well to ask inshallah.